This is the White Star, the most elusive of the 6 stars in the game Realm of the Mad God. To obtain it, one must achieve 5 stars across all 18 classes in the game. Earning each star necessitates surviving long enough to accumulate 15,000 alive fame on a single character in a game that is classed as a bullet hell MMORPG, permadeath. Yet, this feat is far from simple. A single misstep resets your progress entirely, sending you back to the beginning. You must restart repeatedly until finally you attain the divine grace to endure indefinitely, never having to revisit this class ever again. I'm actually curious, does anyone else hate the samurai, or is it actually just me? Because I feel like I'm alone here. Everyone I've talked to is like, oh, the samurai's amazing, but man, like, it killed my YouTube channel, dude. Like, I quit because of the samurai. There are certainly longer grinds in this game. Exaltations, for example, they're no laughing matter. I'm barely a fifth of the way through those, but the key difference here is that you don't lose these on character death. It's a form of permanent progression. And while stars are technically permanent, unless you unlock it, you are effectively in a state of superposition. You're either dead in an instant with nothing, or you're Japan Rod MG with a bajillion fame. To get White Star, you are eternally stuck in purgatory, hoping that you don't do something stupid. And I am extremely stupid. This is by far the most frustrating thing I've done in my 12 years of playing this dopamine simulator. I have now lost count of the amount of times I have perished on characters working towards this goal. It is effectively the only thing I care about at the moment, and I just keep making mistake after mistake. Each of these deaths sets me back about 2 weeks. I don't play long enough to sink the time to recover quickly, okay? Sure, you know, I can max characters easily, and I don't really have to worry much about equipment these days, but fame is the only thing I have no control over. Take my Mystic's death, for example. I literally just died to the Crystal Worm Child at 9,000 fame because I just lost the concept of object permanence, and for whatever reason, I just forgot what I was doing, and in a brief moment of early onset dementia, I sat on the enemy that effectively insta-kills you. I'm not mad, okay? I just hate myself. The 4 characters left are Necro, Mystic, Assassin, and Huntress. Classes that I actually don't mind playing, a deliberate choice to prevent burnout. I accelerated male pattern baldness to complete the Samurai, Rogue, Kensei, and Trickster early on, so I wouldn't hit a brick wall towards the end. And thank God I did. Because if I had died this many times on the Samurai, I probably would have had a conniption. Quick announcement, guys, I'm sorry. But, oh my god, I am now officially a Deca partner, meaning I can do giveaways for the first time ever. If you want a chance to win 1,000 gold or a battle pass, I can do that. I can actually do that now. All you need to do is comment down below a description of one of your character's deaths and then add your IGN in. You can also like the video, but you don't need to do that. I just like seeing the funny number go up. I like seeing the funny number. I'll announce the winners on my Discord server, which I have also set up now, which is crazy. So please head on over that way. In the giveaways channel, that's where I'll be kind of posting all that stuff. I also post announcements. I also post memes. There's a bunch of stuff to see there. Please head on over there. That'll be awesome. Let's build another community there. The invite link will be in the description, in the comments, and on my realmeye, so find it however you want. And, you know, let's get some gold, bro. Otherwise, that's it from me, guys. Follow the Discord, like the video, comment down below, and enter the giveaway. It's that simple. All right, see you later. Why do I want the white star though? Like, what's the story here, other, than bragging rights? Well, to tell this story, we have to rewind 9 years to simpler times, when I had actually achieved this goal for the first time, before it was ripped away from me. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Just kidding. It was actually 4. With every introduction of a new class, I had to get 5 more stars. The first time that this happened, with the release of the Samurai, is what fundamentally tanked the channel back in the day. My last video before the return, I was still grinding this character and I lost so much motivation, I basically quit on the spot. It took me like 4 months to complete this class. I don't know what I was doing here. What was that? Back in these days, however, getting the white star was, far more different than the grind that you have today. To get 5 stars, you had to get 2,000 fame on a character, a significantly easier grind compared to the monstrosity that the task is today. But not only that, death fame also contributed, meaning that if you played right, you could effectively get about 650 base fame and die with enough bonuses to give you 5 stars. And get shreked. Ugh. Finally, oh my god. That took way too long to do. Way too long to do. So we had 650 base exactly. 162 bonus for thirsty. 203 for mundane. This is why I say that it was easier to get white star back in the day. 2,000 base fame back then was actually a pretty big grind. What I find really interesting, however, is that all of the fame bonuses back then punished you for playing. Thirsty meant that you couldn't drink any consumables, that includes health potions. Mundane meant that you couldn't use your ability ever for the life of that character. It was the Wild West back then and we had no idea. I got back into the game around early 2020. I ran so many fungals back then that my fingers bled. I got addicted once more and I accumulated almost half a terabyte of realm footage in about 2 weeks. And because I don't want to leave you hanging, here's a quick highlight of all of the moments.
Alright, good job.
Oh, Lord, what?
Or dead. Oh. Just make sure that you are
Life pot and
Whenever you can't keep up, he's gone. No, George!
Wow, pick up your back.
awesome.
Oh,
Split. Whoa, okay.
That was actually pretty good on the big boy. Oh lord! This is a terrible faking piece. Do not be in the water when you teleport. You will not live to see the light of day. Or fight the boss. I got in the
2 light bags.
It would be around this time that the teasers for the Unity campaign were being pumped out. The supporter campaign was kicking off, marking the game's slow transition to the Unity port in light of Flash Player ending in that same year. With the new Unity client also came the newest class added to the game, a client exclusive, the Bard. And I was once again thrown into despair as I was demoted to Yellow Star once more. A minor inconvenience really, as the class was actually fun to play and I didn't feel like I was dragging my legs through glass. I was motivated and powered through this 2k base fame like nothing. And if you're wondering why I kept deciding to get 2k base fame instead of just getting 600 with bonuses, well, and then it happened. The announcement of the Fame rework. They made Fame a lot easier to get, a complete rework of the entire Alive and Death Fame bonus system. You can see when this happened too, as my Fame basically just skyrocketed on realmeye. Most of which, granted, was on a single character that proceeded to die in 02. Oh god, the trauma, the memories. The Fame update was planned to hit in 2 parts. The first would be the Fame changes themselves, and then the announcement of the star requirement rework that would be updated accordingly later in the year. I looked at my characters at the time, all with around 2k base fame, and I knew that this was going to be one hell of a grind. And boy was it! This was the last clip I have of me as a white star before this update hit, in what can only be described as the single most humbling update in this game's history was the star rank rework that resulted in the largest demotion wave across all players in the game. Former white stars who never went above 600 base fame meant that they no longer even met the requirements for 3 stars, banishing them to one of, if not the worst tragedies in this game, becoming a red star. Isn't that crazy though, that you can go from one of the highest ranks in the game to basically one of the lowest ones? Although I suppose it does reflect how needed the new system actually was. The star rank system now accurately reflects how much of a life that you have, or how much of a disgustingly massive, sweaty troglodyte you are. I set out on a mission to get my yellow star back, and it would be shortly after that I would get 5k fame on all of my alive characters. Not a super difficult task after the fame rework, but still a hell of a grind, using a method that I deemed at the time the most suitable to maintain my sanity. One by one, I would gain 1,000 fame on each character, ensuring that at an absolute maximum, I didn't have to spend very long playing the samurai. This method did work out well for me. I prevented burnout by keeping my experience fresh, and I managed to grind out about 7k alive fame on all of my characters. Once my studies for that year were finally over, my eyes were set on getting some orange numbers back to go even higher. It was then when we heard rumors of the 18th class to be added to Realm. As if I already didn't have enough on my plate, they released the Kensei. With its ability to dash through projectiles with iframes, it brought with it the new challenge of potentially yeeting yourself into an enemy, losing all of your progress instantaneously. Progress and everything. Oh, no way! Now, I knew I was going to start my new job in 2 months, and now was the time to push harder than I had ever pushed in this game before. And boy did I. After a few setbacks with the Bard, I don't want to talk about it, I was off that day, probably, I don't know. I started with my least favorite characters. Once those were out of the way, the rest was a breeze. One at a time, I ticked them off my list, leaving me to today. 4 classes to go, 3 of which are approaching 10k. Scratch that. 2 of which are approaching 10k base fame, and 1 stubborn ass assassin that continues to die in 03 despite having done legitimately hundreds of them without fail. This grind is no joke. Before this grind, I would have considered myself a pretty casual player, but goddamn, this has been hell. I need your support, guys, to get me through this. I am identifying with this meme on such a spiritual level right now. And whilst I may not get my white star back for quite some time, I am getting closer. Death is part of the game. All I need is time. But that is really about it for me. Before I go, tell me about what your worst character death was in-game. If I had to give mine, it was definitely my OG Knight that was featured in my Ogma Vibes video. He's one of my oldest characters, and I had so many memories playing that guy. Really good times. Such a tragedy that he had to die to O2. O2, man! Of any enemy in the game, it had to be bloody O2. Make me feel better again, okay? You tell me your worst experiences with your character losses. Once I do eventually get my white star, I will be planning an event, so stay tuned for all of that stuff. I'll post an announcement closer to it, assuming I actually get there, that is. But anyway, that's it from me, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.